So today's video is going to be all about the pros and cons of buying a rental property here in the UK. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel, Free Your Finance. I'm documenting my journey towards financial independence. If this sounds like something you may be interested in, please hit the subscribe button and you'll get notified when I upload more videos. I actually got into buying rental properties just before I turned 20. I now have a small portfolio of rental properties and I'm going to talk about some of the pros and cons that I've come across in over 10 years of investing. I've thought of 6 pros and 6 cons, so here goes. So I'm going to keep it positive and start with the pros. Number 1, income. Of course, it's the main reason why anyone thinks of getting a rental property. Once you own your property, you can find yourself a tenant to pay you an agreed timescale, usually once per calendar month. This can help top up your usual wage from your job or your business. However, don't forget, you do need to take off your costs of running your property. We're going to talk about that a bit more later in this video. Number 2, it ties into number 1 quite a lot, but it's a long-term security / pension. So for a lot of people, having a rental property one day is going to help provide them a wage in their pension once they're no longer working. This can give a little bit of top up to your usual pension and give you that financial security that a lot of people want when they get a bit older. Number 3, paying off your mortgage. So I have to admit, a lot of buy-to-let investors choose to have their mortgage interest only. Personally, I have all of my mortgages as repayment. I'm not going to discuss why I chose to do this in today's video. However, if you have your property's mortgage as a repayment, one day that property is going to be mortgage free. Now, the great thing about buy-to-let investments is apart from the original deposit that you put in, the rest of the costs are covered by the tenant, or at least they should be. This means over the term of your mortgage, someone else is actually paying your mortgage for you. As I've said before, it's really important to think about the costs of running your property. Number 4, it's like running your own little mini business. Now, it's not for everyone, but some people have always dreamt of running their own little mini business. Having a buy-to-let property is exactly this. There's some small amounts of admin to do. There's customer service when you're talking to your tenant. There's even marketing to do if you decide to find your own tenants rather than using managing agents. Number 5, this is a little bit of a cheesy one, but your tenants become friends. Some of my tenants have been in my properties now for over 5 years, and in time they've become friends. By building this relationship, I have great tenants that respect my properties and they know that if they ever have a problem, they can just call me and I'll be there to help. And then finally, number 6 is the value of your property increasing over time. This one we can't guarantee, of course. You don't know where the housing market is going. However, basing it on past performance, house prices do tend to increase over time. So now on to my 6 cons. Number 1, the cost of running the property. These will be ongoing costs such as maintenance, mortgage, and if your property is a leasehold, service charge and ground rent. It's important to make sure the income from the rent covers these costs so that it's not coming out of your own pocket. And ideally, you'd also like to make some profit too. Please do bear in mind also, service charges and ground rents can go up over time. However, there are restrictions of how much by. Some investors find it helpful to keep a pot of money just in case you do ever need to do any large maintenance work to your property. Number 2, no access to your money. Naturally, properties aren't cheap, so it will lock away a lot of your money. This means if one day you suddenly need the money quite urgently, this could be a problem. Selling a property can take time, and you never know, the housing market might have crashed just as you need to sell. Number 3, tax. The income you make on your rental property does also need to be taxed. I'm definitely no tax expert, however you may need to pay tax when you buy, sell and during the period of renting your property. I recommend you getting advice from a professional. Number 4, dealing with emergencies. So further on to number 1, where we spoke about maintenance costs, emergencies can be an even bigger problem. If you're managing the property yourself, the tenant may call you at any time with a big problem. It's vitally important you get this problem solved as quickly as possible for them. If the property was to have a leak, not only is it awful for your tenant, it also could end up doing more damage to your property. Number 5, renting your property can actually be quite time consuming. Now I'm starting to build a slightly bigger portfolio, I often notice a lot of my problems can come along at once. As I mentioned in my last point, you can't leave problems waiting. Trying to manage a property at the same time as working full time can sometimes become a little tricky. It's really important you have workflows and reminders to make sure that you stay on top of things. And finally, number 6, legal problems. Now touch wood, I haven't had any problems in any of my flats so far. If one day I did have any problems, this may end up leading to legal fees and court proceedings. So I hope you found this video helpful. Please hit subscribe if you want to see more content documenting my journey towards financial independence. Take care.